Rama Rama Hare Hare.
So, as we are discussing from the prayers, those are offered by Maharaj Kulashekar, which are known as a Mukundamala stotra. So, last session we have discussed that what is the greatest medicine or treatment for this Bhavaroga. So, what was that?
Devotion to the lotus feet of the Lord.
And which boat can save you from this ocean of material existence?
Lotus
Lotus feet of Krishna.
Deep worship. Huh?
the boat of devotion of Lord Sri Krishna.
Oh, it is written there in translation. Huh? I was thinking just you're recalling it because you have used the exact words which are there in the translation.
No, because I made notes.
Oh, thank you. So, Maharaj Kulashekar, very nicely, he is explaining about why one has to take shelter of the Lord, how one should take the shelter of the Lordship, and what is the proper process for that. So today we are going to discuss 3 verses in which he is explaining why one should see their Supreme Personality of a Godhead, why you have to visit temples, what is the importance of deity worship, especially for the Grihasthas. So in today's verse, that is text number 17, he is explaining about the precarious condition of a fallen soul in this material world, that rather than taking the shelter of the Lord, they take shelter of so many people. And then he says, Nate naha purushottame trijagatam ekadipe chetasa sevve swasya padasya datari pare narayane tishtate yam kanchit purushathamam katipaya grameshamarpaarkatham sevaihi mragayamahe naram aho mudhavakhyam. He says, Nate naha purushottame trijagatam ekadipe chetasa. There is only one master of these 3 worlds. And who is that? Purushottama. That's the Supreme Personality of a Godhead, Lord Sri Krishna. Sevve swasya padasya datari pare narayane tishtati. And what happens? Forgetting his position, they go here and there. Where they go? He says, the sevve mragama mahe. They serve the person who are of worldly attitude. He says, our master, the personality of a Godhead, Narayana, who alone rules the 3 worlds, whom one can serve in meditation, and who happily shares his personal domain, is manifest before us. Yet, still we beg for the service of some minor lord of a few villages, some lowly man who can only meagerly reward us. Alas, what a foolish wretches we are. We can call anyone as a sir. Do you know what is meant by sir?
Slave in something.
Slave I remain. That is the long form of sir. Do you think anyone in this world is qualified to make a slave someone? And we accept slavery of mundane people who are slave of their own senses, forgetting the Supreme Master. Nate na purushottame tri jagatam. Who is that Supreme Master? Not of this world, but all three worlds. That's why Lord is called as a Srinathji. The word Natha means protector. And who can protect you? In the previous 3 verses, he has clearly explained that who can protect you? Huh? Who?
Krishna.
Krishna. The person who has a pure consciousness, he can say it immediately. Who can save Krishna? Otherwise, they think that my life insurance will save me, my doctor will save me, my husband will save me, my wife will save me. They're supposed to, because they have taken pati means what?
Yes.
Huh? What do you mean by pati?
Husband.
Huh? That's in English. Pa iti saha. Who protects, that is pati. So who is real pati? Krishna.
Krishna.
Because only he can protect you. That's the glory of their Lordship. And forgetting that, we foolish, wretched people, we take shelter of someone else. And that's the problem, with our life, that we don't understand whom to take shelter of. To fulfill different desires, we go to the different personalities. But ultimately, who gives them? To give you. We go to the, in Srimad Bhagavatam itself, in the 2nd canto, 1st chapter, it is explained that you can worship different demigods for different material comforts. But who is providing them that? In Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, Aham sarvasya prabhavo matta sarva pravartate. So what it means? He says everything comes from me. So what's better? To ask him or to ask someone who is just designated for one particular thing? Huh? Ask the stockkeeper. Because there may be something in the showroom, but not everything is available in the showroom. Where you can get?
Warehouse.
Warehouse. So have a connection with the person who is holding that warehouse. And that's why he says, you wretched fellows. Why? We have such a lowly intelligence that we do not understand that whom to take shelter of. As Srimad Bhagavatam says that akamo sarva kamo va moksha kamo udarati tivrena bhakti yogena yajeta purusha parama purusha. Who is parama purusha? Only he can, because he is the enjoyer. He is the omnipotent, omniscience, and omnipresent. So he knows past, future, and present. So he knows what you need, and that he supplies to you. So better to take shelter of him. As Yamunacharya, he explains that Bhavatam eva anuchara nirantarha prashanta nishesha mano rathanaha kadaham aikantika nitya kinkaraha prarahashyami sanatam jivitam. What it means actually? He says, my Lord, when I'm going to get that position, which is Tava Kinkaraha, your servant. What do you mean by Kinkara? Not only servant, but that servant who is always ready with the folded hands. Kim kuru iti pruchati sa kinkaraha. For servant, you have to tell him, go and do this.
Yeah.
So he will do what he has been asked to do.
Yeah.
But kinkara is waiting for getting instruction. That's the difference. And here, Yamunacharya says, by serving you constantly, one is freed from all material diseases and is completely pacified. When shall I engage as your permanent eternal servant and always feel joyful to have such a perfect master? You get really pleasure when you really serve someone is a supreme, who has a real control on. Like there was one wrestler in the village, and he was really very muscular, powerful, and he can beat up anyone. But he was very simple in his heart. And he wanted to serve someone really adorable or someone who is really powerful. So he was looking for that, and he saw, oh, the head of this village, Mukhiya, is a really powerful person because he controls almost everyone. So he started becoming, so he accepted his servitorship and he stood. Wherever he went, he was always following him and serving him. But one day he saw that some saintly person came to beg something at his home. And as soon as that chief of the village, he saw the saintly person, he came out and he bowed down in front of that person. Very respectfully, he brought him inside. He started serving him. Then that wrestler was thinking, hey, I was doing something wrong. He's not a big fellow. Bigger than them is this person. So I should serve him. So he stopped his service and he started following that mendicant, that saintly person. But he saw that the mendicant does not possess anything. He just roaming around, begging alms and just doing his bhajan. But even this person, he goes to somewhere, folds his hands, lie down on the floor, and he begs someone. And who is that? Because any saintly person, their ultimate destination is temple. So they go to temple and they offer their all due and respect, awe and reverence to their Lordship. So he saw the better to serve the Lord. And then in his mind, the thought came, what Maharaj Kulshekar has expressed in this verse. How wretched and foolish I am. Whom I was serving? I was serving the chief of some village. But my real master is who? The master of all three planetary systems. And that is Purushottamaha. And I am Purushadhamaha. Adhama means lowly among the human beings. So lowly person, what is their constitution position? To serve the higher ups. And who is the highest?
Yeah.
Purushottama. Uttama means topmost among the Purushas. Purusha means the Bhokta, the enjoyer. So he's topmost among the enjoyers. And that's why he says that if you really want to get the eternal joy of your life, then one should become the permanent kinkar of Supreme Personality of the Godhead. Does it make sense? How many of you agree to become a servant of the Lord?
Hare Krishna.
But right now we are serving whom?
My senses.
Senses. We are serving our senses. We are serving our desires, which are making us to glide down, 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 down. So one has to be very, very careful. Further, the person who really takes shelter of the Supreme Personality of a Godhead, what happens with them? Do they really care for this world? They do not. Like Prabhupada used to say, in the beginning stage of a Krishna consciousness, when devotee joins, he comes to temple, he visits temple. Does he get involved in all program? Huh? No, he keeps reserve himself. Stands at the back, as much as back possible. He goes up to the wall. Huh? He stands there calmly, just looks here and there. If someone pulls him there, gets shocked. Huh? Does not want to get involved. But if he keeps coming, one day what happens then? He starts pulling others. Huh? Because that is joy of Krishna consciousness. Whatever happiness you get it, what do you try to do? You try to share it with others. You try to give it to others. If you have in abundance, then or surplus, then you try to give it to others. Otherwise, you try to conceal yourself. In the 11th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, it is explained, a revolt devotee, however, derives such a great satisfaction from his service to the spiritual master and Krishna that he doesn't care what others think about. In the beginning, it becomes we are very shy to put on tilak. Huh? Whenever we have to come to temple, we put tilak, and as soon as we come out of temple, flush it up. Huh? Why? Because we are shy. We don't want to expose ourselves as a devotee. I don't know what shame they feel. They are not shameful standing at the corner and smoking or going to some unpleasant place where people really should be shameful of visiting that place. But here, it is explained, once if he get intoxicated with the love of God, then he never cares about what other people they think about him. It says that evam vrata swapriya nama kriya kritya kirtaya jatanurogo dhrata chitta uchchaihi hasatya artho roditi rauti gayatya unmadavana nrityati loka pahaya. By chanting the holy name of Lord, one comes to the stage of love of Godhead. Then the devotee is fixed in his vow, an eternal servant of the Lord. And he gradually becomes very much attached to the particular name and form of the Lord. As his heart melts with the ecstatic love, he laughs very loudly and cries and shouts. Sometimes he signs and dances like a madman, for he is indifferent to the public opinion. As they say that kamaturam na bhayam na lajjam. If someone is really lusty, he does not feel any shame of his all activities. They can stare at anyone, they can look at anyone, they can do all sort of signs. If kamaturanam, if someone is lusty and if he becomes indifferent of the public opinion, then what to speak of prematuranam? If someone is totally intoxicated with the love of God, do you think that they will care about the world? They don't. That's why the people in general, they call devotees as a madman. They think that he's a foolish person. Because they don't care about the public opinion. So here what he's saying, once you understand who is the real master, you should take up his service. And once you take up his service, then take it in such a way that it should be a permanent. Not like only Saturday to Saturday or Friday to Friday, but it's every day.
Yeah.
Huh? Without fail.
Without.
And then in the next verse, he explains the symptoms of bhava. When someone really meditates on the beautiful form of the Lord, then what happens to him? That he has explained. He says, Baddhenanjalin shirasa gatre samromugadam maihe Kanthena sarva gadgadena yanayane odgirnam bashpabhuna nityam tvachacharanaravindayugala dhyanam amrita swadinam asmakam sarashiru gruha kakshaha satatam sampadyatam jivitam. He says, O lotus-eyed Lord, please sustain our lives as we constantly relish the nectar of meditating on your lotus feet. With our palms prayerfully joined, our heads bowed down, our bodily hairs standing up in jubilation, our voice choked up with the emotion, and our eyes flowing with tears. Baddhena anjalina natena shirasa. See, when you go in front of their lordship, how one should be, that has explained in this verse. Baddhena anjalina, by folding your hands, and natena shirasa, by bowing down your head in front of their lordship. That means the mood of a kinkara, sevaka. If you have that mood, then he says that where one should meditate upon. Definitely, if you are in front of the lordship, you are bowing down your head. So where your eyes will fall on? They will fall on the lotus feet. Because that is the object of meditation. The great yogis, to control their senses and their mind, what they do? They always meditate on the lotus feet of their lordship. And this satisfaction of worshipping their lordship, you can achieve only by deity worship. Because we are not that pure that we can see their lordship face to face as he is in his own form. And by considering our status of consciousness, our conditioned life, Lord manifests himself in this material elements. As we have discussed in the prayers offered by Brahmaji, where Brahmaji says that if someone takes your devotion, then what happens? Because of that devotion, Lord, he appears in front of the devotee as that devotee desires to see him. And that's the deity form of the Lord, which is called as a Aracha Vigraha, where he reciprocates with that devotee in that particular mood, that particular bhava. And when that bhava is there, with love, with devotion, if he start worshipping their lordship, then he establishes relationship with them. Like there are different sampradayas, and each sampradaya has their own worshipable deity, and they have that particular rasa with them. Like if you see this Vallabhacharya sampradaya, or which is known as a Rudra sampradaya, there they worship their lordship as their child, Gopalji. Their way of worship, they wakes up Lord not early in the morning, like 8, 9 o'clock. They bathe him, they feed him nicely, and by 11 o'clock they put them to rest, because they think he's a child, he should not be kept awake throughout the days. At some houses, every 2 hours they offer bhoga to the Lord, as you offer food to your child. That is their relationship with the Lord. As we were just discussing, that in Vrindavan, you will find so many devotees. They come to visit Vrindavan, they bring their Gopalji in their baskets. Huh? They carry Gopalji in basket, on head or hand. They have. When that relationship is established, that's what needed, you know. If you go to Sri Sampradaya, the way of offering service to their lordship as full awe and reverence.
As a king.
Emperor, not a king, is the emperor, you know, of whole universe. When they go in front of the Lord, they are always like this, natamastaka, bowing down their head in front of their lordship. Why? Because they accept him as Sahasra Shirsha Purusha Sahasraksha Sahasrapat Sabhumim Vishwato Ritva Titishtatasham. They accept him as a Virata Purusha, who has like thousands of eyes, who has thousands of hands, who has thousands of ears, who has thousands of legs. Are you able to look at him?
No.
That's not possible. So better to just go down in front of him. If you go to Madhura Sampradaya, they love all the Dashavataras, you know. Like, I think it was Vadiraj Teeth. Yeah, I think so. There was one giant king in South India. So he had the deities of Mahavir, their Tirthankar. They made up of different gems, like a ruby, then emerald, diamond. They are like this size. So they asked him, can you come and visit our temple? He said, if I come, then it may be your Lord, but if I take a darshan, he will become my Lord. So it will be tough for you. He said, no problem. You come and see their lordship. So he went. He went in the first periphery, and there was the deity of Mahavir. As if you see all the deities of Mahavir, he stands like a straight. His hands are touching his whole body, and he stands like that, and there's no clothes on the body. So as soon as he went and he offered pranam, those hands came on the west, and he became a Vithala. Then king said, no need to go further. You take your Lord and go. You can find that deity still there. Lord Vithala, that's the first form. The Lord without dress, you know. And standing with his hands on a Karakata Varithyoniya, holding his hands on breast. So that's the glory. That's the relationship of devotees with the deities, with the Lord in the Arksha Vigraha form. Like, there are nice stories about Udupi Krishna, how he reciprocates with his devotees. Once Kanakadas, he was a great devotee. He was like an incarnation of Yamaraj, Mahabhagavata. So he was sitting under the tree and he was just glorifying the Lordship. He was glorifying in such a way that Krishna wanted to see him, So what he did, he was rightly facing on the east. He turned on the southern direction and where the Kanakadas was sitting. And the temple wall was collapsed. And Lord was looking at the Kanakadas. Even today, if you have to go and take darshan of Udupi Krishna, if you go to the front door, you will not see the face of Lord. You will see the side part. But if you go on the right hand side, that is called as a Kanakana Kindi. That is, the Kindi means window. That window was made for Kanakadas so that you can see the Lordship. So Lord is looking through that window to Kanakadas. So Aricha Vigraha is not a material or some metal or stone, something. No, he's a Lord himself. And there are thousands of stories of Lord Jagannath if you go to Jagannath Puri. Any atheistic person can become a devotee just by visiting that place. That's amazing. You feel that vibration. That Lord is right there in front of you with his magnanimous, a gigantic, beautiful form. And that's what needed, Actually, in my life, when I went to Jagannath Puri, I really got attached to deity worship. The first touch that, because those days they were allowing that you can go on the cart and embrace their Lordship. You can hug him. That first experience finished up all the material things. Because it's like someone who really loves you, like a first embrace of your mother, the first hug that she gave you, it's like that. That's why to worship deities is very important. Like Madaji was telling that they brought some sunglasses for Samarth and Madhav. How old is Madhav now?
3 years.
3 years. See, regularly seeing their Lordship, seeing the parent worshipping the deities, they also feel that they are not deities, but they are one of our family members. Because what your mom cooks, she takes in first to the Lord, offer it, and then everyone honors. So what this child thought, they thought that my brother has got specs, I got specs. What about the Krishna? Why he is not having? So he started crying, He was not peaceful till they made some paper sunglasses for the Lord. When it gave it to him, he went and he personally put it to the Krishna and then he becomes satisfied. From where it comes? See, these are no need to go to Puranic stories. No need to go to like a 300, 400 years back stories. It's right now happening that Lord is showing his mercy. Nobody has trained him that you should do it. Have you told him that you should go and say like that? No. It spontaneously came from his heart. And how old is he? That itself shows there is no barrier of age to render devotional service to the Lord. We have example right now here. And that's why deity worship is so important for us. Because none of the devotees or none of the Vaishnava literature consider worshipping a deity is idol worship. They consider it as a Aracha Vigraha. where you can offer your services and establish your relationship with the Lord. And that's what happens, when some pure devotee comes and he prayerfully invokes the Lord which is there in his heart, and he begs to him, please, my Lord, come here and take services that we would like to offer it to you. And Lord really comes there. So Lord is present right there in all his 64 qualities. With all his 64 qualities. So it depends upon you, how you want to relate yourself. If you think he is a marble, he will be marble for you forever. If you think he is my Lord, he is a Govinda, he will fulfill the name that you have given to him. He will give you pleasure to your senses, he will give you pleasure to your cows, he will give pleasure to the earth. So it depends upon you, how you want to establish your relationship with him. Like some people, they come and they think, ठीक है, लोग पूजा करते हैं इसलिए हम भी हाथ जोड़ लेते हैं. Other people, they worship, so we will also come and bow down. So same relation he will have. Like last week, I was surprised. One person came and he said, can I put an application in front of them? I said, why not? If you think that they are there and they can take your application, they can read, you can write. And very nicely he wrote one later for the Lord, especially for Shriji. He wrote it down. My dear mother, please be merciful on me. Keep me at your shelter. And then he had a little list of all. He wrote down that and put it at the feet of Srimati Radharani. What it's? Akamo sarva kamo va moksha kamo udarati. Tivrena bhakti yogena yajet purusha. At least he has that much devotion. And actually, because that day what happened, flowers got over. Incense got, like which one he brings, that got over. I was just thinking, is that person going to come today or to offer it? Maybe another 10 minutes or 20 minutes. He came. He came with the curd. I was thinking to make a curry rice. He brought a curry, dahi, curd. He brought flowers. He brought bananas, which was finished. He brought the incense also. So Lord reciprocates, He knows from whom what he can ask for and who can give that. So you should have that approach to the Lordship. And that's why all over the scripture, it is always explained that you should worship the Lordship with full faith. Because he says, the way you want to reciprocate with him, he will respond in that. Prabhupada says in that particular purport, Lord is reciprocally respondent. The way you want to approach him, the same way he responds to you. Look at him as one of the most beautiful persons. In two places, the Srimad Bhagavatam, they have explained about the beauty of their Lordship. If you really want to get attracted and meditate on, then meditate on this particular form of the Lord, as explained in the second chapter, second canto, second chapter, and 10th verse of Srimad Bhagavatam. Unnidra rita pankaja karanika laye yogeshwara sthapita pada pallavam Shri Lakshanam Kaustuba Ratna Kandharam Mlanam Lakshmya Vanamala Yachitam. Here the wonderful explanation about the Lord's beauty has given. It says that Unnidra Rita Pankaja Karanikalaye. His lotus feet are placed over the whirl of the lotus like a heart of a great mystics. On his chest, the Kaustuba jewel engraved with the beautiful calf, and there are other jewels on his shoulders. His complete torso is garlanded with the fresh flowers. When you take darshan of their lordship, you should look at this particular things. How his earrings are dazzling. Because when you look in that point of view, you will remember that form of the Lord. Generally, we go for the darshan and we close our eyes. Nonsense is that. How many of you have visited ancient Vedic temples? Have you seen in the Mantapam, before the Garbhagriha, there is a small Mantapam, Darshan Mantapam, where everyone stands. There is always a tortoise on the floor. What that tortoise represents? Have you thought about what it shows?
Senses should be open. Senses should be open the temple.
How that tortoise looks like? Concealed or outstretched? Huh?
It's like bow down.
See, his face is totally out.
Yes.
His four legs, they are totally out. His tail is also out. That means he is a fearless. Generally, when tortoise is fearless, he stretches his legs, his neck, his tail, everything. So whenever you come to the temple, you should stretch on your senses. Lord has given you powerful senses through which you can enjoy. So enjoy the presence of the Lordship in the temple. Wide open your eyes and see the beauty of the Lord. Pay attention to the mantras they are chanted there. Be conscious of a wonderful fragrance that is coming out of the flowers which are offered at the lotus feet of the Lord. That everything is explained in the text 20, which we are going to discuss next week. That tortoise, it represents that one should stretch out all his senses, let them open and take the advantage of the presence of Lord in the temple. Further, in the 9th canto, 24th chapter, 65th verse, they have explained about the beauty of their Lordship again. How his face looked like. Yasyananam makara kundala charu karana bhrajat kapola subhagham savilasa sahasam nityotsavam natrutvadarshibhi pivantyo naryo narasya modita kupita nimesha. Here it is said, Krishna's face is decorated with the ornaments such as earrings resembling the shark. His ears are beautiful, his cheeks are brilliant, and he is smiling, attractive to everyone. Whoever sees Lord Krishna sees festival. Nityotsava. Having darshan of their Lordship means having a festival. Festival for whom? For all your senses. Why? Because Alakavali mandita bhalatatam shruti dolita makara kundalakam vraja Dhwaja vajra jhasankita padayugam bhaja Krishna Nidhim Prajarajasutam. Alakavali Mandita Bhalatata. His Bhalatata means forehead is decorated with the Alakavali. Alakavali means the hair locks, curly hairs. They are coming on. They look so beautiful, no? When they come. If someone has a curly hairs and they fall on the face, they look more beautiful. Then Alakavali Mandita Bhalatatam Shruti Doliti Kundala Makarakam. He has the earrings which are like a shark, Makara Kundala. Dhvaja Vajra Zashankita Padayugam. His lotus feet are having the symbols of Dhvaja, flag, Jasha, the fish, Vajra, the thunderbolt. So his lotus feet are decorated with these symbols. So everything that you can see upon are so beautiful, you know. He's all attractive. He's attracting everyone's heart towards him. And that's why he says that you should become a slave of this beauty rather than the beauty of this mundane world which can contaminate your hearts. Make him the object of your senses than anything else in this world. Then in the further verse, he says, what should be our aspiration? And how the senses, if they are not engaged in Lord's service, what value does they have? He says, Yat Krishna Pranipata Dhuli Dhavalam Tadvarasham Tad Vaishirashahas Te Netre Tamasojitaihi Suruchire Yabhyam Hare Drashyate Sa Buddhir Vimalendu Shankadhavalaha Yamadhavadhyayini Sa Jibhambratavarashini Pratipadam Yastuti Narayanam. That head is the loftiest, which is white with the dust from bowing down to Lord Krishna. Those eyes are the most beautiful, which darkness has abandoned after they have seen the Lord Hari. That intelligent is a spotless like the white glow of the moon or a concha, which concentrates on Lord Madhava. And that tongue rains down the nectar which constantly glorifies Lord Narayana. Actually, I did mistake. It's not that he is condemning the senses, but he is explaining the real purpose of the senses that you have. How they can fulfill their purpose. He says that that head is the loftiest, which is white with the dust from bowing down to Lord Krishna. Otherwise, that head is like you are carrying a burden on your shoulders, nothing else. If it is not bowing down in front of the Lord. He says that the darkness of your eyes has gone once if you have seen the Lord Hari. Otherwise, even though you are having eyes, you are sometimes blind, you know. But that blindness has gone if you see once with your eyes the Supreme Personality of God. Otherwise, those eyes are like eyes on the peacock's feather, you know. Peacock's feather also has eyes, but they are just decoration. No use of that. He says that intelligence is spotless, which accepts the supremacy of the Supreme Personality of the Godhead. Otherwise, people are more intelligent, but they are useless. They are called as a abudha, means foolish fellows, because their intelligence is taking them away from Krishna. And he says that intelligence is really superior, which concentrates on Madhava. And then he says that tongue is glorious, which glorifies the wonderful qualities of Lord Narayana. Otherwise, it will be like a tongue of frog, which invites the snake, you know. In the rainy season, you hear the tar 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 voice of frogs. What that does? That just invites the snake. So same way, if this tongue is not used for the service of the Lord, it is useless. It's just inviting your death. And if it is used in the Lord's service, it's called as a Amrita Varshini. It is running down the nectar for everyone. And then in the next verse, what he explains about the fulfillment of the senses, that we will discuss on next session. Maharaj Kulashekar ki, Srila Prabhupada ki, Samaveta Bhakta Vrinda ki.